Ajakuta. In view of the above, I urge you all to support the expeditious passage of this bill. Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I wish all of us will support this bill to pass through the second reading. Thank you and God bless you.
Senator Comrade Smart Ademi Sardona.
Mr. President, I'm always delighted when you appreciate that we are still very much in this struggle. And this struggle is our life of total emancipation of this country. Mr. President, I rise on behalf of the people whom we represent, the masses of this country, to support this very important bill before us. Whenever we talk about iron and steel, I feel highly delighted to participate in the discussion. This is because this is one sector that is very crucial, very important towards infrastructural development and towards socio-economic development of our nation. The proposed university, like my brother has said, is just seeking for an upgrade of the stature of an institution that is well established on a solid foundation towards being able to award degrees and carry out other research work in iron and steel. Mr. President, one of the major achievements of this government is its determination and contribution made so far in resuscitating iron and steel complex in Ajakuta. I'm sure quite a number of our colleagues have visited that complex. And this complex is a complex that is good enough to sustain our economy. If we have a university in place, it will enable us to be able to carry out other research work that are halfway done, halfway abandoned. Mr. President, the iron and steel complex is capable of not just producing steel, it's capable of producing cement, it's capable of producing other materials that are part of components of construction across the world. And more importantly is the fact that we should capitalize on the iron and steel to have a university that will complement the billions of dollar investment made in the early 70s in establishing iron and steel complex. But just like my colleague brother have said, all over the world today, education and indeed higher institutions are no longer put under one roof. In essence, across the globe, Mr. President, nations of the world, advanced nations, they now emphasize more on specialized university. So not until when we have a university with 50 faculties that matters. It is the product of those faculties, those universities that matter. So having a university for steel complex is important, apart from the fact that it will generate job opportunities for millions unemployed. It will equally improve our revenue base. In Africa, Nigeria is the only country with a solid iron base. And Mr. President, the equipment you have in Ajakuta is the same equipment that have been used in India in the last 90 years. And yet it's still producing. Ours produced for just less than 10 years, it folded up due to mismanagement. And before you knew it, it was unbundled and sold to some people who probably didn't pay for it. Now, we thank God that this government is trying to retrieve iron and steel complex back. Having a university will complement the effort of this government in making sure that we rehabilitate iron and steel complex and is back into mainstream to help our economy. Our economy is having serious challenges, and it's a global problem. So iron and steel complex is so important to us that to make it work and to be able to sustain the development and the sustenance of iron and steel complex, we need a university that will produce the manpower that are needed and equally encourage the younger ones into the industry. I so submit, Mr. President.
Is there anybody against the bill? So those in favor that this bill be now read a second time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian State University at Jakuta, Kogi State, to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration, and for related matters 2020, SB 393, second reading.
A bill for an act to establish the Nigeria Steel University at Jakuta, Kogi State, to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and for related matters 2020, second reading taken. And the bill is referred to the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund to report back within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the third order of the day is the second reading of the Federal University of Education ANCPA Establishment Bill 2020. Distinguished colleagues, we recall that the bill was read the first time in this distinguished chamber on Wednesday, 6 November 2019. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Jibrin Issa to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Senator Jibrin Issa. No, he's not in. Maybe he's in Lagos. You stand it down. Sorry? Okay.
Mr. President, in the absence of the sponsor of the bill, I rise to move the motion for this distinguished chamber to stand down the consideration of this item on the order paper to another legislative day. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I rise up to second the motion as moved.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that we stand down the consideration of the item mentioned by the leader, say aye. Till another legislative day, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fourth order of the day is the second reading of the Federal University of Technology, Ilaro Establishment Bill 2020. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read the first time in this chamber on Tuesday, 15th October 2019. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Solomon Olamileko Adiola to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Senator Solomon Adiola Olamileko.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleague. Mr. President, before I go on to read the lead debate on the second reading of a bill for the establishment of Federal University of Technology, Ilaro, I want to please make a quick correction that this bill is co-sponsored with Senator Tolu Odebi, representing Ogun West. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, permit me to lead the debate on this important bill for the establishment of Federal University of Technology, Ilaro, through the upgrade of an existing tertiary institution, namely the Federal Polytechnic, Ilaro, Ogun State. I recall that I presented this bill in the 8th Senate, and it was read for the first time in the Alo Chambers on Thursday, the 6th April 2017. Following the commencement of the 9th Senate, I once again presented the bill, and it was read for the first time on Tuesday, the 15th October 2019. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, this bill seeks to upgrade the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro to Federal University of Technology Ilaro and make comprehensive provision for its management and administration. The imperative for the establishment of this technology university is informed mostly by the expansion and development of the Polytechnic that was established in 1979, some 38 years ago. As can be glimpsed from the attached profile of the institution, as well as the ample latitude for massive expansion in terms of space, the institution being located in the semi-urban communal setting of Ilaro, it is worthy of note that the Polytechnic has many infrastructural facilities which many state-owned universities and privately owned universities, including Federal University, cannot boast of. Ironically, those state and newly established Federal University have today been granted National University Commission accreditation and a running course as a full-fledged university. Objective of the university: 1, to encourage the advancement of learning and to hold out to all persons without distinction of race, creed, sex, or political conviction. 2, to develop and offer academic and professional programs leading to the award of certificate, first degree, postgraduate research, diploma, and higher degree with emphasis on planning, developmental, and adaptive skills in technology, applied science, and allied professional discipline. 3, to produce mature technologists of higher cadre with capacity not only to understand the technological needs of Nigeria as a nation, but to exploit the existing technological infrastructure and improve on it to develop new ones. 4, to collaborate with other national and international institutions involved in training and development of technology with a view to promoting governance, leadership, and management skills among technologists, and to identify technological need of our society with a view to finding solutions to them within the context of overall national development. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, let me say that in our ongoing developmental drive, our economy requires a requisite high level of technical, scientific, and technological skill for its effective operation. There is therefore the need to establish of our own technology university to produce adequate human resources if we are not to continue to rely on foreigners on huge cost. It is also worthy to note that the establishment of this university will go a long way in improving human resources to the major industrial center of Nigeria, namely the Agbara Ota Industrial Estate, Ikeja Industrial Estate, as well as the Begoin Lekki Industrial Complex in the offering. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, the establishment of this university in Ogun State will also go a long way in balancing the spread of educational infrastructure in the state and other parts of our nation, among the 3 senatorial districts and also among all the local governments and by extension the Southwest Senatorial District. Where this proposed university is sited, it is only one without a state or federal-owned university, with the 2 other senatorial districts having upward of 2 or 3 state and federal-owned universities located therein. However, it is noteworthy that none of these universities located in the state are technological-based universities. In other words, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, in addition to the advancement of learning and knowledge in technological field, encouragement of innovation, entrepreneurship, and application of technology, the bill seeks to correct, ameliorate the imbalance in educational infrastructure and its attendant relegation of a section of the country in acquisition of educational and benefits thereof. I have no doubt that the enactment of this bill will help in transforming technological education fortune of Nigeria through the upgrade of the developed institution of the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. I wish to state that there is no financial implication to the bill and all operational structures are already in place as the university is taking over from the existing Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. I urge all my colleagues to support this bill for second reading. Thank you.
Senator Tolu Odebi.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Tolu Odebi I represent Ogun West. Mr. President, I second this bill that is ably sponsored by myself and Senator Adeola Olamilekon, with the need to upgrade the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro into a Federal University of Technology. Mr. President, Ogun West consists of the most industries you can think of in Ogun State. Even in Nigeria, most of the multinationals, most of the industrial centers are in Ogun West. And by that, there's a need for demand for technologically driven or technology students that can support these industries. Secondly, Ogun State has 11 tertiary universities, tertiary institutions, and most of these tertiary institutions, very few of them are universities of technology. So this bill is really apt in transforming the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro into a Federal University of Technology, which will enable the students to meet the demands of the future. That is what we are trying to do. I think it's definitely a bill that is apt and a bill that will add value to, for a lot of these students and also help the country in our drive to develop more of technological-based economy. So, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am in support of this bill that has been jointly sponsored, and I hope my colleagues will approve it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Payne.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am Michael Okweyemi Bamidele. I represent Ekiti Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, it's really my pleasure, and I'm happy to also add my voice in calling for support for this bill. And historically, Mr. President, I am particularly interested in this because having been privileged to serve as a member of the Cabinet of Lagos State for 11.5 years as Honorable Commissioner under 2 different governors, I am very familiar with the link between the communities of the 2 sponsors of this bill, our colleagues representing Lagos West and our colleagues representing Ogun West. And I say also for the record that the 2 senatorial districts as communities share boundaries. And part of the reason why I also believe this bill should get our support is that having a Federal University of Technology in Ilaro will also continue to serve the purpose of helping to raise the necessary human capital development and providing human resources for Lagos, which has continued to be a major commercial hub, for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So in this respect, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, I want to say that I'm happy to be a part of this, and I thank you for the privilege of also making a contribution. And I urge all our colleagues to support this bill. Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Is there anybody against the bill? Those in favor that the bill be now read a second time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Technology, Ilaro, to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration, and for other matters connected therewith, 2020, SB 84, second reading.
A bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Education, ANGPA, Kogi State, and for related matters, 2020, second reading. Sorry? Ilaro, sorry. A bill for an act, pardon me please. A bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Technology, Ilaro, to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, and for other matters connected with 2020, taken, and the bill is referred to the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and report within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the 5th order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Health on the Mental Health and Substance Abuse Bill 2020. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 20th November 2019. Mr. President, I invite distinguished Senator Ibrahim Yahaya Oloriegbe, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Ibrahim Yahaya Oloriegbe.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Ibrahim Yahaya Oloriegbe, Kwara Central. Mr. President, I rise to move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Health on the Mental Health and Substance Abuse Bill 2020, SB 66. I so move, Mr. President.
I need a seconder. Senator Tolu Odebi.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the bill, the motion moved by my distinguished colleague to present the report on the Committee on Health to repeal the Lunacy Act cap laws of Nigeria. I so second.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate receives and considers the report of our Committee on Health, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Chairman, you lay the report, please. Chairman, you may present the report. But where's the report? Okay, keep it there.
Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I rise to present the report of the Committee on Health for a bill for an act to repeal the Lunacy Act, Cap 524 of Nigeria, to establish a mental health department to promote and protect the rights of persons with mental health conditions and persons with intellectual, psychosocial, or cognitive disability, and to provide the enhancement and regulation of mental health service in Nigeria. Mr. President, with your permission, I will just highlight part of the report that are essential, sir.
No, go ahead.
For a coherent, rational, and unified response to the delivery of mental health service in Nigeria, to promote and protect the fundamental human rights and freedom of all persons with mental health condition, and ensure that their rights are guaranteed, to ensure a better quality of life through access to an integrated, well-planned, effectively organized, and efficiently delivered mental health care service in Nigeria, and to repeal the Lunacy Act of 1964, which is archaic in the management of mental health condition in Nigeria, and whose provision infringed fundamental rights of persons suffering from mental health condition. Mr. President, having gone through all the legislative process, including receipt of submissions and public hearing, the committee, I'm now going to the final part of the report, sir, found and observed as follows: that the consensus of opinion of stakeholders at the public hearing favored the repeal of the extant law, the Principal Act, and the enactment of the new bill. The Lunacy Act enacted in 1964 is a cake and long overdue for repeal. That the bill in its current form, if passed into law, will address the gap hitherto created by the old Act in the treatment and management of mental health in Nigeria, including the fundamental human right of access of persons to healthcare services. And the proposed legislation bill did not create or establish any new agency or commission that will attract extra budgetary funding by the federal government of Nigeria. The Committee on Health, to which the bill was referred to, therefore recommend as follows: that a bill for an act to repeal the Lunacy Act, Cap 524 laws of Nigeria, to establish a mental health department to promote and protect the rights of persons with mental health conditions and persons with intellectual, psychological, or cognitive disability, and to provide for the enhancement and regulation of mental health in Nigeria, having considered same report, accordingly recommend that the Senate do consider and pass the bill. I so move, Mr. President.
Any comments? Leader of the Senate, Committee of the Whole.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to move a motion for the Senate to resolve in the Committee of the Whole to consider the report. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion that the Senate resolves into a Committee of the Whole for consideration of this report.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate resolves into Committee of the Whole to consider the report clause by clause, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, this is not a controversial bill. So we may take 4 or 5 clauses at a time. And there are 59 clauses in the bill. Those in favor that clauses 1 to 5 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 6 deals with the governing board of the Commission. Those in favor that clauses 6 to 10 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 11 to 15 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 15 to 20 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 21 to 25 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clauses 25 to 30. Those in favor that clauses 25 to 30 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 31 to 35 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 36 to 40 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clauses 41 to 45. Those in favor that clauses 41 to 45 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 46 to 50 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 51 to 55 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 56 to 59 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Schedules. Those in favor that paragraph 1 stand part of the schedule say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. The short title. Those in favor that the short title stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. The long title. On page 1, those in favor that the long title stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to move the motion for the chair to resume progress, to resume plenary in order to report progress. I so move.
Motion as moved.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chair to report progress say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. The Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Health on the Mental Health and Substance Abuse Establishment Bill 2020 and approved as follows: clauses 1 to 58 as recommended, schedule as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. The Senate.
Mr. President, I rise to move a motion for this bill to be read the third time.
Minority Leader. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the bill be now read a third time say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment and regulation of mental health and substance abuse services, protect persons with mental health needs, and establishment of National Commission for Mental and Substance Abuse Services for the Effective Management of Mental Health in Nigeria and for other related matters 2020 SB 66, third reading.
A bill for an act to provide for the establishment and regulation of mental health and substance abuse services, protect persons with mental health needs, and establishment of National Commission for Mental and Substance Abuse Services for the effective management of mental health in Nigeria and for other related matters 2020, read the third time and passed. Congratulations. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the sixth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Health on the Federal Medical Center at Gasa, Kaduna State Establishment Bill 2020. Distinguished senators, colleagues, we will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 17 December 2019. Mr. President, we wish to invite distinguished Senator Ibrahim Yahaya Oloregbe, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Senator Yahya Ibrahim Oloregbe.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Ibrahim Yahya Oloregbe, Kwara Central. Mr. President, I rise to move that the Senate will receive and consider the report of the Committee on Health on the Federal Medical Center at Gaza, Kaduna State, Establishment Bill 2020, SB 169. I so move, Mr. President.
Any seconder? Senator Obasani.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Obasani, representing Kaduna Central. I rise to second the motion ably moved by distinguished Senator Ibrahim Oloregbe that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Health on the Federal Medical Center at Gasa, Kaduna State. I so second, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate receives and considers the report of our Committee on Health, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. You may lead the report. Chairman, will present the report, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. This bill was read for the first time in the chamber of the Senate on the 19th day of November 2019 upon its presentation by distinguished Senator Obasani, Kaduna Central Senatorial District. After the debate on the general principles of the bill, it was referred to the Senate Committee on Health on 17th December 2019 for further legislative action. The key objectives of the bill, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, is to bridge the existing gap between primary, secondary, and tertiary care delivery in Kaduna State and in turn in Nigeria in general, to solve issues of accessibility and to medical facilities, to support and provide enabling environment for medical training of personnel, to provide an efficient and cost-effective medical services to Nigeria, and to be able to promote research from time to time in this established center. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the committee took several legislative actions on the bill, including a public hearing that was held on the 18th day of February 2017. The public hearing was well attended and we received several submissions from several stakeholders. I proceed to our observations and findings, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it is important to note that from the submission and presentation made at the public hearing and the subsequent consideration of the bill by the committee, we observe as follows: that the consensus of opinion of stakeholders at the public hearing favored the establishment of the Federal Medical Center at Gasa, Kaduna State. That legislative intent behind the bill is commendable, and its passage by the Senate will complement the federal government effort in bringing healthcare closer to the people. That the establishment of the medical center will help to address the perennial problem of shortage of competent medical doctors and personnel, which has affected quality of healthcare delivery in Kaduna State and in general, and the country in general. That the passage of this legislative proposal will no doubt improve the quality of life of the people through broadening the employment opportunities and socio-economic development of the area concerned. The committee for which the bill was referred to, having considered the report, accordingly recommend that the Senate do consider and pass the Federal Medical Center at Gasa, Kaduna State Establishment Bill 2020. I so move on behalf of the committee members, Mr. President.
Okay. Any comments? Leader of the Senate, Committee of the Whole.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise from the motion for the Senate to resolve into the Committee of the Whole to consider this report.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion as moved.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate resolves into Committee of the Whole to consider the report clause by clause say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, this bill has 28 clauses, and like the previous one, is also not a controversial one. So I will take 3-4 clauses at a time. Those in favor that clauses 1 to 5 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 6 to 10 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 11 to 15 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 16 to 20 those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 21 to 25 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 26 to 28 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the schedule stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. the short title. Those in favor that the short title stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the long title stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I move that the chair reports progress. I so move.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to second that the Senate revert to plenary to report progress.
Those in favor that the Senate reverts to plenary for the chair to report progress, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Health on the Federal Medical Center, Rigasa, Kaduna State, Establishment Bill 2020 and approved as follows. Clauses 1 to 27 as recommended, schedule as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I rise to move a motion that the Federal Medical Center, Rigasa, Kaduna State Establishment Bill 2020 be now read the third time. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion as moved.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the bill be now read a third time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the legal framework to establish a Federal Medical Center, Rigasa, Kaduna State, and for related matters 2020, SB 169, third reading.
A bill for an act to provide the legal framework to establish the Federal Medical Center, Rigasa, Kaduna State, and for related matters 2020, third reading, is read the third time, and the bill is passed. Congratulations, Kaduna Central.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, distinguished senators, the seventh order of the day is a motion standing in the name of distinguished Senator Nicholas Olubukola Tofomo on the urgent need to compel all tertiary institutions in Nigeria to subscribe to e-validation of result portals for academic result verification. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Nicholas Olubukola Tofomo to move the motion.
Senator Nicholas Tofomo.
Our Senate President, distinguished colleagues, Senator Nicholas Tofomo, representing Ondo South. Urgent need to compel tertiary education institutions in Nigeria to subscribe to e-validation of result portal for academic result verification. Note with deep regret that many supposed Nigerian graduates parade fake academic results, stroke certificates, and use same to work in home country in Nigeria and as well in the diaspora. These fake certificates and the user positions that are not qualified to occupy, therefore taking positions that are supposed to be occupied by qualified and genuine candidates. Further note that many unqualified and dubious people are riding on the seat of power with fake certificate results, even when the minimum qualification to run for the highest office in Nigeria is school certificate. I emphasize that
suspected corrupt tertiary education institutions personnel are aiding and abetting these evil menace, which has been an embarrassment in Nigeria in the Committee of Nations. Concerned that Professor Abubakar Adamu Rashid, the Educational Secretary of the Nigerian Universities Commission, NUC, recently stated in this day newspaper on December 4, 2019, that about 100 fake professors were uncovered in our higher institutions, and more concerned that tertiary education institutions in Nigeria are losing income on a daily basis for not subscribing to e-validation of result portal like WAEC, NECO, and JAMB. Accordingly resolved to 1. Urge the Nigerian Universities Commission NUC to build and maintain for all tertiary education institutions in Nigeria an e-validation portal to enable employers and relevant authorities or organizations within and outside Nigeria to verify and validate academic results, certificates obtained from education tertiary institutions in Nigeria. 2. Direct the Nigerian University Commission, NUC, to compel all tertiary education institutions in Nigeria to subscribe to the e-validation result portal proposed in one above, like WAEC, NECO, and JAMB portal to verify, authenticate, and validate result certificates obtained from examination bodies. Number 3, all ministries, departments, and agencies that MDAs to use the portal as proposed in one above to check, verify, authenticate academic results, certificates brought before them in the course of employment, recruitment into respective offices. Thank you, our Senate President.
Well, thank you very much, distinguished. But in your prayer 2, what I have is authenticate and validate result certificates obtained from tertiary institutions. Have you amended that because you read examination bodies? Have you removed, deleted tertiary institutions and replaced? Examination bodies. Okay. Any seconder? Yeah, Senator Betty Apiafi.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Betty Apiafi. I represent Rivers West Senatorial District. I'm from Rivers State. So, President, I want to thank my distinguished colleagues for bringing this all-important motion at this time. This motion is so timely because we've been having too many cases of forged results in institutions in Nigeria. Even in the political arena, we've had issues of school certificate results, university certificate results that have challenges that have made so many people who have won elections lose their elections because of that. It is important, just like the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board has digitalized their processes, making the exam an online, a computer-based examination. It is important that results of all examination bodies, and in fact, even the higher institutions, as a matter of fact, be put in a portal so that when you're recruiting people or before you get into a university, there is a portal, there is information for you to authenticate any result before people are employed, before people are admitted into higher institutions. In most cases in our universities, when people get to their final year, it is then the university will discover that they didn't have the necessary 6 credits they needed to get admission, and you have a lot of students who now spend more years trying to sort out those issues. So this portal will really come a long way to bring our educational institution to what it should be in the present day. So I support this motion, and I hope all my colleagues second this motion. I hope all my colleagues will support this motion. Thank you.
We'll go to the prayers. Prayer 1. Urge the Nigerian Universities Commission NUC to build and maintain for all tertiary institutions in Nigeria an e-validation portal to enable employers and relevant authorities or organizations within and outside Nigeria to verify and validate academic result certificates obtained from tertiary institutions in Nigeria. Those in favor of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. Ayes have it. Prayer 2, direct the Nigerian Universities Commission NUC to compel all tertiary institutions in Nigeria to subscribe to the e-validation result portal proposed in one above, like the WAEC, NECO, and JAM portals to verify, authenticate, and validate result certificates obtained from examination bodies. Those in favor of prayer 2 say aye. Those against it. Sorry, amendment, Senator Ekong.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Koniyain. I want to amend prayer 2 that it should read, since it's a federal government, a federal Ministry of Education that supervises WAEC, NECO, and then JAM on its own. It should be the Federal Ministry of Education, not the Nigerian University Commission, that should urge all educational institutions, as amended by my distinguished colleague, to subscribe to the e-validation result portal. That the Federal Ministry of Education should urge educational institutions in Nigeria to subscribe to the e-validation result portal instead of the tertiary, the Nigerian University Commission. Is that? Why?
I don't know that word compel, because this is supposed to be a policy. And if it is a policy, then the National Council on Education should be involved in this. That is the highest decision or policy making body of the educational sector in Nigeria. So you are right, Minister of Education. Compel is okay. I don't know whether that is the... compel. Okay. So I want someone to second the amendment. Yes, Senator Matthew Rogide.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the amendment as proposed.
Those in favor of prayer 2 as amended, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3, urge all ministries, departments, and agencies to use the portal as proposed in one above to check, verify, and authenticate academic results, certificates brought before them in the course of employment, recruitment into respective offices. Those in favor of prayer 3. Amendment, Senator Ibrahim Lurogbe.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think since we are urging, it shouldn't be only the government MDs. It should also be all employers of labor, for that matter, to do that verification.
Any seconder? Yes, Senator Betty APF.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the amendment should include all employers of labor. I so second.
Those in favor of prayer 3 as amended, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Well, thank you very much, distinguished colleagues. And with this motion, we have concluded everything in the order paper today. And we will adjourn till next week. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, having concluded all the items on the agenda of today's order paper for today's proceedings, I rise to move that this Senate do adjourn to Tuesday, 8th December 2020 at 10 a.m. prompt.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion that this Senate do stand adjourned for Tuesday, December 8th at 10 a.m. I so second.
There's an announcement before I put the question from the Senate Leader. I wish to formally announce the death of the wife of my predecessor, Mrs. Amaka Loretta Ndomegba, in a gas motor accident on the Ore Okiti Pupa Road on Thursday, 19th November 2020. Burial arrangements have been scheduled as follows. Date Sunday, 6th December 2020, Nights of Songs and Tributes. Venue, Mara Event Center, 135 Mustafa Bello Street, Asokoro, Abuja, time 5 p.m. Date Wednesday, 9th December 2020, require Mass. Venue, Church of Assumption, Asokoro, Abuja, time 4 p.m. Date Friday, 11th December 2020, body leaves for Enugu, Erut, Ikom, Cross River State. Date Saturday, 12th December 2020, interment after a funeral mass at the Queen of Peace Catholic Church, Akparabong, Ikom, time 11 a.m. The single senators are by this announcement invited to be part of the funeral activities. Signed, Senator Abdullahi Yahya, Leader of the Senate. With this, I'll put the question now. Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and seconded by the minority leader that the Senate do adjourn till next week, Tuesday, the 8th day of December 2020 at 10 a.m. from say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. The Senate is hereby adjourned till Tuesday, 8th December 2020 at 10 a.m. prompt.